This is John Figliozzi of Clifton Park, New York. You're listening to the International Radio Report on CKUT 90.3 FM in Montreal.
Welcome, everyone, to this special edition of the International Radio Report on CKUT 90.3 FM in Montreal. My name is Sheldon. I am here with Jill, as usual, every week. But this week is a little bit different. We are coming to you from the virtual 35th Annual Winter SWL Festival hosted by NASWA. NASWA is the North American Shortwave Association. And there are roughly almost 300 people registered for this annual event this year. Due to COVID restrictions, we are conducting it virtually. So we have people literally from around the globe joining us in the Winterfest this year, from Iceland, from Australia, Finland, the UK, and a few other places. Brazil is another one, and probably a couple of Japan. I may be forgetting some, but anyways, we thank everybody for being here. If you're not here, you should have been. If you listen to our show and you're fans of radio, we really think you should have been here. But if you're not, we'll try to give you the experience here today. So, Gilles, things have been going well so far?
Oh, absolutely. I'm having a blast. I'm hoping that us recording the show here is going to give you the incentive to be here next year if you weren't. And it's a lot of fun to meet people, see faces of, voices, or even just people usually in a chat room. And the presentations have been great up to now. You're missing out if you're not here on an amazing weekend of radio.
Yeah, the event kicked off on Friday around 1 p.m. Eastern time. We've had a number of forums already. If you've been listening to the show, we've been highlighting some of the forums that were going to be presented here. So we've had Tom Swisher reporting, putting a presentation together about setting up your monitoring post or your listening post. We've had Skip Airy talking about famous ham radio operators, past and present. We had some really interesting names show up there. We've had the annual Free Radio Forum, which Larry Will put together. And we've got a lot more events coming up for the rest of the weekend. So I think we've got quite a few people here with us in the room. We're going to be talking to a number of different people who've been participating in the event so far over the weekend. We've got 3 screens up in front of us as we're doing this virtually, so it's hard to see everyone who's here, but we do thank everybody for being here. So if you hear some background noises, you'll know why. It gets a little crazy sometimes trying to keep track of as many people as we have in our room here today. So let's see, Richard Cuff. We have Richard Cuff with us on the Zoom here today. And Richard, you are one of the 2 organizers of the event. And so we'll come to you first and find out how things are going so far.
Well, we so far so good, Sheldon. We've had a bit of struggle with the Zoom platform itself, getting people properly registered and signed in, but I think we're past most of those hurdles, and it's just it's been great so far. Just seeing everybody again. In some ways, it's we see folks this year that were with us last year for the first time. The first time we went digital or virtual, so we have a whole set of returning cast of miscreants that have come around for the second virtual fest, as well as the folks that we've seen over the years. And one of the interesting things as well is that people that we saw years back who haven't been coming to our physical fests in Pennsylvania have been here for the past 2 years for the virtual fest. So it's just been great with this as a reunion activity for interest in radio. And it's the fact that we've got almost 270 people who chose to spend part of their weekend with us. We're just thrilled and hope that everyone certainly enjoys their time with us. And say, so far so good. I've learned stuff already, and I'm looking forward to the sessions as they roll on for the rest of the weekend.
Excellent. Well, we thank you and John Filiozzi, who's somewhere around out there virtually, and for putting this event together. You guys have been doing this for so many years now, and we really appreciate all the effort that goes into it to get this to happen. And the new challenges of doing things virtually, and things seem to be working fairly well for everyone.
And I think it's to note to thank you also that, it would have been easy when COVID hit to just say, well, we're not going to be here for maybe this year or a few years. But nope, you guys jumped in and said, nope, we're going to do it virtual and it's going to happen. And thank you so much for that.
It's certainly great, and a lot of hard work goes into it. Just, putting a group of presenters together for the forums. We've got such a cross-section of people in different aspects of our hobby, and it's great to have them step forward, put together presentations for us. And presentations will, they're the main draw of the event. But, yep. The friendships we make, meeting people who have such common interests as us, it is, we talked about this on our show before. It's kind of an individual type of pastime. We listen to strange radio signals from around the world. We don't do this thing in groups normally. So to get a whole group of people together, close to 300 of us who all know what we're talking about, it's really kind of nice to find all those people out there. Let's see, we've got so many popular or recognizable names. I want to go to Rich Mcvicker, and anybody who's been a long-time shortwave listener will probably recognize that name from the days of HCJB, the voice of the Andes.
Yeah.
Rich, welcome.
Thanks, Sheldon. It's nice to be here.
We're so glad to have you with us on board. So many people, as I said, will recognize your name from HCJB. How long ago was that you were working there?
Can you believe it was 1990 to 96? So it's been 20-something years.
It's amazing how fast time flies, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just hearing your voice come on here today, immediately it brought back memories to so many people of listening to HCJB in the past.
Oh, it was wonderful being able to work down there.
Well, it's great to have you with us here today, and glad to see that you're still in our hobby. And, some people were telling us today they actually have some tapes of your programs, the DX Party line at HCJB from the past, probably sitting out there on dusty cassettes right now. But really great that we've been able to capture some of that radio history out there.
Still, right. Rich, just a question here. Are you still doing some digital TV DXing?
Yes, actually, that's probably the kind of DXing I've been doing more than anything over the last 10 or 12 years, ever since the big switch in Canada and the US from analog to digital. Of course, there is still some analog around if you're trying for foreign countries, and that's really exciting. Actually, that's possible to get TV in some faraway lands. Yeah, the digital TV DX is a different animal too, and I finally kind of entered the new millennium and getting some equipment for that. So yeah, I've been enjoying that.
Oh, that's just cool, because I get that question all the time on my live show is, can we DX, the digital TV today? And I said, yeah, there's this guy, Rich Mcvicker, that seems to be doing it successfully. So it's cool.
Well, actually, just last fall, I got CBMT. It's not on channel 6 anymore, on channel 30 something, I think. But I got that down here south of Syracuse. So that was kind of exciting.
Oh, that's cool.
All right. I mentioned that we have people from around the world here today. So I'd like to get hold of a couple people that are on the other side of the planet in the future, as we like to call it. I see that Rob Wagner down in Australia is joining us here today. Welcome from the other side of the world and from tomorrow.
Good morning, everyone. You're all looking surprisingly well this morning.
Yeah, well, when the program airs, it will be morning, but right now we're recording in the late afternoon, local Eastern time. How are things down in Australia?
Yeah, pretty good. Thank you. we're having some fairly warm weather. Of course, it's that time of the year. We've just entered into the autumn season here, the start of it, but it's still been very warm. A lot of rain up through the east coast of Australia has caused a lot of flooding through Queensland and New South Wales. I'm not sure that much of that's been on the news over in your part of the world, because there's also been something else going on over in Europe. But we've had some terrible tragedies with floods and so on in the last week or so. I've got friends up on the near the Queensland New South Wales border that have been absolutely they're travelling around in a caravan, but they really need to get a boat as well. It's been pretty bad. So aside from that, the rest of us are going okay, and it's great to see so many faces here and names that I've seen in the past. And of course, occasionally I come up on the CIDX Zoom meetings that you have sometimes at a reasonable hour of the day for me. So it's nice to catch up with you guys again. And I see Rich Mcvicker was here. I occasionally exchange a message with Rich every now and again, and I've been enjoying watching Rich put up his old QSL cards, of which I've got a few as well, and it's been great to relive some of those memories there. And he's got some cards that I just couldn't ever get from down here, so it's quite interesting to see some of those. So thanks for that, Rich, and. So I'll sit on the side, as they say, and we'll listen to all that's going on and let you move around to everybody else.
All right, very good. Rob, thanks for joining us from Australia. And it is a small world when we can all get together like this. So it's great to have you with us. Gilles, you want to pick someone you want to have a chat with? I know we've got some people from your official SWL channel here, and some of our CIDX people. So take it over.
Matt Kelleher, is he around?
Matt, are you with us?
Hello, I'm here.
Yeah, so how have you been enjoying the first day of presentations on the Shortwave Fest?
Oh, it's been a lot of fun. I've been kind of busy doing stuff in the background while that's been going on, but the Shack presentation was very nice. They got some ideas for improving my area from that, getting back home from picking up my daughter. But the pirate stuff is always interesting to hear. So yeah, I've been having a good time. This is my second year doing the fest, and it's always a lot of fun and very informative, and a good way to get excited again about shortwave when sometimes the feelings get a little wane a little bit. So
yep, that's cool. And it is cool also because the fact that we have it virtual, it's easy for everybody to join in when you can't get there. So thanks for your input, Matt. It's always nice to hear from you.
All right, well, thanks for calling on me.
Bert Harold.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
Absolutely. So
yeah, so I just echo what the previous individual said. It was been a really good show. This is the first NASWA event I've been to. The Winterfest is my first one, and I just sort of did things in the background. I was working on my house a little bit. Had to do some painting and stuff, and had it on in the background. And I like the presentation from Tom Swisher on kind of setting up your shack basically, and some tips and things on there. That was kind of interesting. And I listened to Skip Airy's presentation and Larry Will, and some of the information about the pirates was really good. And it's just been a lot of fun, just sort of having it on here in the background, playing while I was doing other things. And it's been kind of a unique experience for sure.
Cool. Well, thanks for your input. It's nice to have you here. And I guess this is why I was pushing this event a lot, is that if it's your first time, I think you really want to be here again next year, because I don't think anyone that came here once does not want to come back. It's just too much fun to be here. So thanks, Bert.
Yeah, thanks for all you guys for putting this on. This has been really fun.
Yeah, it's been it's a great event, and it's even better when we're all in person. This is the next best thing we can do by having it available here on Zoom. But to go to a live Winterfest is really something special. There's just so many great people, the whole atmosphere, meeting people face to face. It's just such a great opportunity for an activity that we're involved in. That, as I said earlier, is mostly something that we do as individuals. To be able to get so many people together in one place and be able to talk about experiences and memories and create new friendships, and it's just been such a great opportunity over 35 years now. I know personally I've only missed 2 of these events. The very first one, which happened way back 35 years ago, and I missed one other one along the line. But it was a difficult situation, obviously, with COVID. What was going to happen, and this virtual version of Winterfest evolved, and it's just been great, and so good to see so many people come on board. We're gonna go down Texas way, and we've got Terry Colgan down in Austin, Texas, joining us here today. Terry, you've been around this hobby for a very long time. You were at one time in charge of the old Association of North American Radio Clubs. So tell us a little bit about radio life down in Texas.
Well, it's no different than anywhere else, I guess. We were talking a little bit earlier about medium wave DXing. In Texas, you hear Texas stations, and you hear a lot of Mexican stations. What we don't hear, at least I don't hear anyway, is much of anything into Central America, which used to be a pretty good, when I lived in Kansas, for example, used to be a very productive area for DXing. But, the combination of urban noise and about a jillion radio stations, and, the powerful ones used to be Sunday morning or Monday morning, they were off the air. Now nobody's off the air unless there's bad weather or a lightning strike or something like that. So, medium wave DXing isn't what it used to be, but if you're up to it for a real challenge, it's as Texas Radio Shortwave would say, it's the only place to be. Shortwave, signals propagate, and if you've got a good antenna and you can stand the noise levels, shortwave DXing is still fun. I tend to hang out a lot. I'm going to use a term that, someone's going to suggest I wash my mouth out with soap. I use European SDRs, software-defined receivers, to do a lot of listening to the low-power European stations. I've found, you could spend probably years just trying to hear and verify the Dutch pirates. Earlier Larry Will was talking about how many pirates there are in North America. I don't know that I've ever had the same experience he has, but I guarantee if you want to listen to bunches of pirate stations, the Europeans have it hands down over the U.S. Unfortunately, Dutch and German stations, especially Dutch stations, you better like polka, because they tend to play a lot of polka music. And, it doesn't make very much difference if you listen to commercial FM stations in the United States. What are you going to hear? You're probably not going to hear polka music unless you happen to be listening to a station in Fredericksburg, Texas, which is a German community. but you know, everybody's playing the same country and western and the same, you know, modern rock music and those sorts of things. So I've kind of, I won't say I'm fond of polka music, but I've gotten so I don't immediately turn away from that. So that's what's going on in my life.
Well, very good. Thanks, Terry, for being here today. And we see you fairly regularly on Zoom with our CIDX club meetings as well. So it's always nice to hear from you down in Texas. We're going to hop across the water next. And I see an old friend from so many years, Michael Murray over in the UK. Michael, how are you doing?
Fine, thank you. Yes, mustn't grumble. It was nice to see Richard there and, Terry there and Rich before him, who I haven't seen Terry for many, many years and Rich for a good number of years. And I must say to Rich, I will be in touch shortly. But it was nice to have this break from the unfortunate news that we have here in Europe. It was a nice change to turn the TV off and listen to something completely different.
Yeah, that's true. It's but it's an interesting time. Of course, you know, the seriousness of what's going on, but you know, the role that radio's playing is certainly a major one, and it's changing almost every day. We've been seeing that with so many messages coming from people around the world. People listening. Terry mentioned online radios. Gilles, you've been tuning around on some of those as well, and you've been talking to people on your official SWL channel on YouTube about things that people are hearing. It is interesting times radio-wise.
Absolutely. From regular shortwave broadcasters, the amazing coverage of the BBC World Service has been having on events happening, the really cool fact that they added frequencies, and now we learned that they've added and registered a Russian program for 30 minutes, Russian 18 to 1830 UTC on 9770. And this is really cool to see that some shortwave broadcasters are catching up and saying, you know what, gotta get back on shortwave, you gotta get back some transmissions, it's important. Of course, on the utility side, there's been a lot of things happening from the buzzer, where everybody is going and checking out what's happening, because you can have all sorts of weird things happening. The other day I was listening and Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody started playing over the buzzer. The waterfall with all the designs, and there was one message that went through this week, stop war. And utility frequencies of all kinds for military. There's been some military communications from Russia. Of course, a lot of people listening to the U.S. Global Command frequencies, and that seem more active than they were before. So it's exciting times. It's, for those that never been there, it's the Cold War field again on shortwave radio. And so you can have a glimpse of what we went through. And it's exciting, and it is fun because it's creating a nice, even though it's a sad event happening, it's creating a momentum where a lot of people are understanding that shortwave is, something important. And the young generation coming into the hobby are now kind of, wow, I never thought shortwave was like this. And it's so cool to see that all the activity coming up from the events.
Yeah, and what we're also doing is making people aware that the online receivers are out there, that people can, even if they don't have their own radio anywhere, they can get online, go to some websites, go to Kiwi SDRs online, go to a whole slew of different outlets that are available out there for people to get access to more information from different parts of the world. Sometimes, we tune into some stations. There's been some Ukrainian medium wave stations which are still on the air, and people are going to European software-defined radios, which are set up online that people can listen to. So, there are lots of different ways to listen to things now. It doesn't necessarily have to come out of a conventional looking radio any longer. And that's drawing a whole bunch of new people in as well. Michael, I wanted to mention one thing to people as well. You were for many years in charge of the European DX Council. Chrissy Brand, who's with us this weekend, is now I forget what the title is.
Secretary General.
Secretary General, that's it.
It's coming up to 2300 UTC, but I'm prepared to be here for another 5 or 10 minutes.
Okay,
but the one thing I'm going to lose tonight is the fact that I won't be able to listen to Toshi from Japan, because that's coming later on.
That's right. We have a presentation coming up shortly from the Japan Shortwave Club. So that'll be another example of the international aspect of this get together.
Yep.
So it's really great. Very good. Thank you, Michael. It was great to have you drop by here today, and keep up the spirit over there in the UK, and everything good going on at the European DX Council. We'll be hearing more about the council later on in the weekend here.
Indeed.
So,
indeed.
Very good. Thanks for that.
Good to talk to you.
We only have a half-hour show, unfortunately, but we'll squeeze in as much as we can.
Yeah, we're already quite advanced, so it's going to start being difficult to choose people out there. But
a little hard when we got 3 screens in front of us with so many people.
There's so many people. I'm just going through and I just see a big blur.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think what we'll do is we'll kind of wind things up here for the show. We will be having a special edition of the International Radio Report on our YouTube channel. We're going to be putting that together. We'll be recording a whole bunch of people in sort of an after party of the SWL Festival on Saturday evening. Once the official events have wrapped up, we're going to open up this hospitality suite and just keep recording and keep talking to people.
Yep.
And we will put together a special show that Gilles will edit and get up on our YouTube channel. So you may still hear yourself. It might not be over CKUT, but it'll be on the YouTube channel down the road. And we do thank so many people for being here. And Gilles, you want to wrap things up here today?
So just want to say that this is a great event to be. It's a great event, and I want to thank John Figliozzi and everyone that is behind this beautiful event. And, it's a great way to see how we have radio friendship, and we have a lot of people that share one big love for radio in general, and it's just so cool. So you know what, like Sheldon said, tomorrow I'll be leaving the recording on. So that means we're going to record everything and we're going to edit. And not only will we have this show here on CKUT, you have to be on the YouTube channel to see the special show coming up also that we'll be recording. So thanks for all.
All right. Thanks, everyone. And you have been listening to a special edition of the International Radio Report from the 35th Annual NASWA Winter SWL Festival. We will talk to you again next weekend on CKUT 90.3 FM in Montreal. Have a great week, everybody.
Bye-bye.
I'm Richard Cuff of Allentown, Pennsylvania. You're tuned to the International Radio Report. 30 minutes of news about radio on CKUT 90.3 FM in Montreal.
This is London.